Welcome back to another review. I've got a BenQ ScreenBar Plus e-reading lamp that was sent in via the company for a review. So I'm skimming over the back of the box quickly just to show you the fitting instructions. I'll go over that myself shortly. Quick look at the packaging. When you open up the box, everything's laid out neatly, and you also have a guide on the controller that will give you an idea of how to use it. It's very simple. This is the counterweight that you get, and there is quite a bit of weight to this to hold the bar in place, and a flexible spring action. Peel off the protection coating, and you have a sandblasted finish, ABS plastics at the top, and a silicone pad there to grip onto the monitor. Here you can see the spring action moving, so it has a few positions that it can go into so that you can get a good angle, and another silicone pad at the back to hold it in place. The controller has a tab here which you have to take out so you can use the switch. There's a push action on that, and you have two buttons. One on the right is to switch between the Kelvin temperature and the power output, and one on the left is for the auto setting. And this has flat cable on it, and once you've taken the protector off, you've got aluminium alloy with a sandblasted finish with a silicone pad on the underside to keep it in place on the desk. I've put the measurements for the cable on screen for you. It goes off in a Y-shaped splitter, so one goes into the back of the bar, the micro USB, and the Type A into your power source. The bar length is 45 centimeters, and again this is aluminium alloy, sandblasted finish, and there are a lot of LEDs on this. I didn't count, but you have in sequence warm then cool going right the way across, and I'll give you a quick macro shot here. You can see the warmer LEDs are orange in colour, and there is a texture reflector so that the LEDs hit that and then bounce off, so it gives a more diffused appearance. On the back of the bar is the micro USB port and just some certifications. Again, all metal construction on this apart from the ends, with a plastic lens on the top. Fitting this is very simple. Just snap it into place, and you have about 20 degrees rotation with the bar once it's put into the holder. That means that you can angle the light around and get the exact position that you want. Quick shot showing you fitted to the back of the monitor. It's very secure because the counterweight is quite heavy, so it's not going to move anywhere. But then what you want to do is just adjust the angle so you can get the exact spread of light that you want on the front of the desk. This doesn't hit the monitor at all, the light, so it's just a case of whether or not you want more light pushing forward to the desk. Perhaps you were working or something like that, doing some paperwork, and if you've got a webcam, that's no problem at all. You can fit that on the top, or if your monitor's wide enough, you can just put it to the side. This isn't going to work for ultrabooks or thin laptop books. Another quick shot here showing you the bezel on the monitor, so it doesn't extend far into it, so it shouldn't be a problem on most monitors. I'm looking at the power output now, and I've put on screen the Kelvin rating. You've got very warm 2700, goes up to 6500 to cool, and the power consumption is about an amp maxed out, which drops very slightly if you go to the warmer tint. And then at the lowest power output it's about 250 milliamps, so it's very energy efficient. I counted 15 power levels and 8 Kelvin settings for this light, so you can customize it how you want in terms of the output and the tint. So using the controller is very simple. Push on and off. In the center there's a click there, and then the right hand button switch between the two modes. You can see the color temperature marked there and the brightness on the left, and then just adjust it. You have click stops on this so you can feel where you've hit the next position on the dial, and it is very nicely made. It's very smooth and very good quality, as you would expect for the price. The auto brightness button on the left will set it automatically. It's always 4000 kelvins. If it's really bright, it tends to go a bit lower, but I've never seen it set really high level if it was very dark. Just a quick sequence to show you the settings from the very warm white, which is very much incandescent, a bit warmer than halogen light, up to a cool white of 6500, and most monitors would be about the 6500 Kelvin level unless you've adjusted the color balance on them. Once you ramp the brightness up, you'll see that the light starts to spread out a bit more, and it does provide quite a nice bit of illumination. The problem I have with this setup is I have a blackout blind, and if I have the blind up, there's too much light coming in and something like this is actually quite useful, more so than I was expecting. It's not really just a reading lamp. This has quite a few uses in terms of helping the eyes, because I do find I do get eye strain sometimes if you've got a bright monitor in a dim room, which I don't have a choice in this case because of the window behind it, which isn't a good place to put a monitor. This helps balance out the light. This is a quick sequence showing you the warmest setting where just the warm LEDs are on, then it starts to mix the cooler ones in as well. So what happens is once you get to the higher settings, the warmer ones are less intense, obviously to give you that balance, the colour balance, and at the top setting it's just the cool LEDs on. I've been testing this now for a couple of weeks and it's a lot more useful than I was expecting it to be, partly because it's not just a reading light, you can use it for that. I've used it to take shots as well on the mat which I have in front on the desk, and it just helps with the eyes because I've got high contrast behind me. This balances out the light and gives more even illumination, and it really does help with eye strain, and that's just real world use, using this for a longer period of time than I normally would do with a product that I review. Recently there's been more talk about this blue light spectrum which can potentially cause issues with eyes. I'm not a doctor or an optician, but this is certified as free from any blue light hazard, so that is something to consider as well. This is aimed as a higher end product, and I'll be honest, that is the only disadvantage that I can see with it. The quality is excellent and I find it very useful, much more so than I was expecting. However, it is priced as such and it is quite expensive. That is the main downside that I can see with this. You do have an option with a slightly cheaper version which does have the controls on top of the bar instead of the controller which I've showed you in this one. If you've got any thoughts on the BenQ, leave a comment below or any questions, and thanks very much for watching.